Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to another session of Relationship CPR, a soulful connection. So a quick reminder of the house rules. You already know that. And a dua, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Now, last class we have started on the topic of addiction, and we have touched on drivers of addiction. Today we are going to start on recovery, and then we'll see how far we can go. When we talk about recovery, what we are talking about is coming back to ourselves, to regulation, or to integration, or to transformation, coming back to the God-given qualities, attributes that He sent us to this earth with before things got tampered, before things got managed. So recovery is about getting back on track with individuating to becoming whole. So what happens when we are born, we are attached to our parental or caregiving figures. And then we don't individuate. We think we are enmeshed. We think we are part of each other. Even some people think, we belong to our parents, and we are, of course, in a way we are, but then we as human beings, we have a need to individuate. I am my own person, which is adulting. But most of the time you'll see as an adult, we are still attached to our parents in a way as if we are the child, as if we are that young children of theirs who needs to be cared for or saved or regulated. So recovering and reigniting the individuation process is what we are going to look at. And it means building new inner and outer supports, particularly emotional regulation capacities and nervous system regulation capacities. And also the ability to inquire into our experience and to be present to it. So whatever we are experiencing, we question ourselves. As we have learned in so many sessions to do those exercises. So we question ourselves with those exercises and be present with our emotion. That way, we gradually individuate. We come to our whole being, entire being that were suppressed and which shoot off or splitted off. Our goal is not to feel better, but to get better at feeling our emotions. Our goal is not being happy. A lot of the time when I ask people, what is the meaning of life? Or what is the purpose of life? They think, their answer says, the purpose of life is either for me to be happy or to make somebody happy. None of them are purpose of our lives, to make anybody happy or to make myself happy. No. And it's not about reaching a state like, a lot of the times you'll see monks or even people who do yoga or meditate, they think we want to reach a state, whatever they think that state is, or even a state of peacefulness or tranquility. We are not chasing any state, but the recovery is about increasing our holding space. Our holding space for our own emotions, our holding space for other people's emotion, our holding space for joy, so that we don't go and sabotage the joy because we are not accustomed to joy. Joy feels uncomfortable. Joy feels boredom. Joy feels like something is missing. So we want to, recovery is not, a lot of the times people may think, oh, I'm going to therapy, trauma therapy. It's not so that you can hold more trauma. It's so that you can hold more joy, more life, more whatever experience the life brings. Because right now, we are so, as I was saying, short of bandwidth. We are so over used in certain emotions that we don't have any capacity for having or holding those emotions anymore. And also your integrated capacity to be present to the unpleasant feelings, unpleasant emotions, and to learn to inquire into your emotions, to be open to them, to be exactly where you are without trying to change them. I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling anxious. How, without changing my state of anxiety to distracting myself and doing something else, that's not the goal. The goal is, how can I sit longer with this anxiety, with this sadness, and understand and process and be with the sadness, be with the anxiety, talk to the anxiety. What is the message that anxiety is bringing to me? What am I avoiding in my life that I have anxiety? So becoming friendly with our experienced incidents, because when those incidents happen in the childhood especially, or even in adulthood, we didn't process them, or we have separated them from ourselves because we were embarrassed, we were shamed, or whatever it is. We didn't experience the incident, we didn't feel the incidents. So now we are increasing the holding capacity so that we can experience those incidents that has already happened and be friendly with them. Learn to regulate the nervous system dysregulation and regulate our emotions. That is recovery. And this is only the inside job. But for the outside job is building relational capacities to reignite our social engagement system, to learn to trust again. A lot of the times we cannot trust people anymore because we have been burnt so many times. And rightfully so, because I don't know. I don't have the capacity to understand red flag from the green flag. So I'm just gonna, to protect myself, just say, whatever, I'm not gonna deal with the world. I'm not gonna trust anybody. Instead of learning what should be my standard, what is a red flag? What is a green flag? What is a red flag for me? What is a green flag for me? How come people are wagging the red flag and I don't even realize? So learning those things, once you learn those things, and as soon as you see somebody wagging the red flag, it's no longer a carnival for you. It's no longer a red rose for you. It's like, oh, I can see the red flag. Somebody love bombing you because you are so thirsty of love. You think that's love. No, now you understand that's love bombing. So when you can separate the red flag from the green flag, then you trust your discernment, your judgment, your assessment about people more. And then you can trust the people who is trustworthy again, and to let the people in, to have boundaries, to reach out for support and receive support. Instead of thinking, you know, everybody is painting them with the same brush. Everybody is out there to get me. Because as a child, I never got the support. Now I think everybody is out there planning or thinking bad for me. So it's about learning to feel more alive, more empowered, finding more meaning in our lives. Our life is not only about achieving degrees and then going to jobs, helping people. Yes, we are helping in a way, but if we are still struggling to see how meaningful or how I make a difference in the world and feeling like being suicidal, then we are not finding meaning in our lives. We are just going through the motion because now I have a degree. Now I'm serving here, even if in social services, I'm going and giving services to people. Logically, I understand that I'm changing lives in some way, but somehow there is still in my heart, I still feel more and more depressed, more and more suicidal, more and more my life doesn't have a meaning. So it's recovery is finding more meaning in our lives. And it's about whole lifestyle change. It's just not about, oh, I've done the trauma work. No, it's about how do I have more self-control in my diet, in my physical health, exercise, in my taking decision, in my choosing friends, in my environment, as in, am I messy? Am I putting back things where they belong, if in a better condition than I found? So a lot of lifestyle change, and gradually, only gradually we can do that. We cannot change everything at the same time. It will probably take you 5 to 10 years, and you have to give yourself that room. But understanding that now is important. Otherwise, you cannot reach the goal. You cannot change your lifestyle just like a flick of a switch. But you know you have to do it, and gradually you go towards it without shaming and blaming yourself. Oh, I should have been doing this. I should be doing this. I have taken the trauma course. How come I'm still not doing it? No, it doesn't happen like that, because our logic learns very quickly than our body and our nervous system. Our nervous system takes a lot of time to catch up with our logic, because it is fighting those old trauma, old wound, old belief system. So you have to give yourself time. You have to give yourself permission to make mistakes. You have to forgive yourself for making mistakes and not judge yourself. So it's not just about getting off substance. Recovery is not just about getting off substance. If you just get off the substance, what you are or we are very susceptible to is relapsing. And the substance can be anything. It could be drugs, alcohol, it can be, your social media, whatever the form of your substance is, to deflect yourself from feeling the pain. So, or the substance could be just eating without mindfulness. We will relapse again. And that would be just getting rid of the effect rather than the actual reason, the root cause. And then what happens is we swap out one addiction for another. We swap out overeating to over exercising, overly going to the gym, which is again not a good thing. First of all, because we are not tending to the emotion. Second of all, if we over exercise, that's not good for our muscles. So we have to bring the balance. But what happens, especially if you have ADHD, is there is tendency to binge. Whatever you do, you binge. You are watching TV, you binge. You are eating, you binge. You are working, you binge. And you don't have the balance of spreading out things and do a little bit. I struggle with that. So we have to understand giving ourselves grace, which is very hard because nobody, when we were children, gave us that grace, showed patience with us. So we are impatient with ourselves and we don't have grace for ourselves. Now, the addictive behavior or the coping mechanism is the gateway to what the wound is. If we don't know what our wound is, we cannot heal it. So whatever addictive behavior you have, tap into it and check this coping mechanism. What are you avoiding? And then see to it what you are avoiding. That is the gateway. So the top layer is the addiction we see. Whatever your temperament, your personality, your people might think you are weird, or you think people are weird, whatever is seen, or whatever, however, the process of choice or the substance of choice you have to look away from your pain, whatever people notice is your addiction. And then underneath, the addiction is because I have this compulsion to escape. To escape what? That's where we tap into. What am I escaping from by doing whatever I'm doing? All addictions are driven by a dysregulated nervous system that is seeking balance, homeostasis. So in a way, your body is actually very intelligent that it is seeking this addiction so that you can function. Your body can function, your organs can function, especially the heart and the brain can function. So your body is seeking this homeostasis through the addiction. So we have to treat the cause, not the symptom. The symptom is the addiction. So don't treat the symptom. And actually, this is not a symptom either. This is a strategy to keep yourself alive, to keep yourself going, to keep yourself moving in life. This is your nervous system's very intelligent strategy because it has seen in the past that this strategy has worked to keep yourself calm. It doesn't know any other functional way. So it is going to use whatever way and means it gets. So it is a very intelligent strategy of your nervous system. And what does addiction give us? Again, addiction gives us homeostasis. Maintaining this connection from the painful emotion. If I don't have to look into my emotion, I can feel safe. So instead, I think this is Dr. Gabor Mate. He says, instead of asking why the pain, why the addiction, ask why the pain. If you have any addiction, instead of blaming yourself, shaming yourself, or anybody else, why are you into this addiction? I don't understand. Ask them or ask yourself, what is the pain that you are avoiding? Because the addiction is never the problem. And the addiction can show up, as we have mentioned before, food addiction, relationship addiction, one relationship after another, one relationship finishes, I jump into another relationship because I don't have the capacity to sit with my discomfort of this broken relationship. So I'm going to seek homeostasis through another person, which is rebounding, giving them the entire responsibility to soothe my nervous system instead of me soothing my nervous system. So I am addicted to relationship cycles or any behavioral addiction. Every time I'm triggered, I blast off, or I do something. Isolation addiction, I could be like, I have no capacity at all to manage any challenges. So I shut down and I go into my own cave to process my emotion, which is understandable because it takes time for me to process emotion. Addiction could be gambling addiction, shopping addiction, social media addiction, or even collective addiction. Collectively, this whole world is going towards social media addiction, or even, like, I think not so much now, or maybe it is shopping addiction. Collectively, we hate a group of people. So ask yourself, what are you really escaping from? When you tap into that, you will see underlying trauma stored in the nervous system, most possibly from childhood. And that is the driver of trauma. That drives your trauma patterns now, or addiction patterns now. So start to notice the compulsion within yourself. This is very, very fast and very, very subtle. We can only meet another person as far as we have met ourselves. If we want to connect with people, we want to have deep, intimate relationship, loving relationship. Unless we can meet ourselves, be intimate with ourselves, be with our pain, we cannot be present to anybody else's pain and connect with them. Our children, our parents, our spouses, we want to have beautiful relationship with them. The reason they cannot be present with your grief is because they cannot be present with their own grief and sadness. And the reason you cannot be present with somebody else's grief is because you are not comfortable with your own grief and sadness at a very depth. So this compulsion within yourself is very fast and subtle. How? So you'll see that you are sitting idle, and then maybe mindfully that I want to stay with my emotion. And suddenly you feel the pull towards thinking something else, or checking something on your phone, or doing some chores. You suddenly remember, oh, I haven't finished washing. I haven't finished this. I haven't finished that. I have to go complete this. And you'll find this in, especially when you are praying salah, you're doing your namaz, all this start coming up. Because prayer, salah, is supposed to be deep connection with God. But because we are so uncomfortable being present in the moment, that all hundred of ideas and chores and things that I have to do comes in my mind, and I go for it. Not in the salah, but at least when you are sitting idle. You are watching TV and you're also scrolling. So the compulsion to escape runs through every human being. Compulsion to escape, to move towards pleasure and away from the pain, or towards something that we perceive is better than this present moment. In some way, this present moment is not good enough for me. Either I'm bored, or I'm in pain, or I'm distracted, or whatever that is. So I'm going to go do the other thing. Compulsion is compulsion to check the phone, as I've said, for a little bit, even if when you are doing nothing, or you are supposed to do nothing, chill. But for us, chilling means being on the phone. So this is very, very fast, because if you don't catch yourself that, oh my God, I'm trying to sit with myself, be mindful, and here comes this compulsion to go grab the phone. If I'm not mindful, I'm just going to go grab the phone because this is so fast and subtle. Oh, I wouldn't even realize that I had the compulsion to escape. It's before you even reach for that phone or before you even have that thought that I need the phone, you're going to just go and grab the phone without any awareness, understanding, or mindfulness. I'll just go and grab the phone. It is so subtle if we don't be enough aware, and so fast. So you go from this present moment of stillness, and there is this pull. Your consciousness gets pulled in other directions. And that compulsion is the compulsion to escape. So next time, when you are doing one activity and you switch activity, so you are sitting and now you feel like you need to go do something else or even think about something, pause for a moment and check why this activity right now has become boring to me, or why can't I stay with this activity, especially when you are sitting idle. So we have this perception that if I go do something else, if I go pick up the phone, this is going to be some sort of better experience than the one that I'm having right now. Just like, it's the grass being greener on the other side, as if I do something else, it's going to give me more happiness, more satisfaction. So start to become very, very aware of when that pull starts to happen with you. And I'm not asking you to change your behavior here. You're sitting and suddenly you feel like you need to eat something, or suddenly you feel like you need to go and do some chores. I'm not saying don't go do your chores, don't go eat something. I'm saying just notice that very subtle shift in your consciousness. The pull from this present moment to escape from this present moment. Just maybe for a few seconds. Just be with that. And ask yourself, what is this compulsion to escape? So we got to be very, very aware of this in our own lives, in whatever form it may take, that change, that shift. So be very aware. And this will build your own capacity, because it happens so fast that it's hard for us to be aware of that until we start to practice it. There is a quote that says, all man's issues arise from his incapability of being able to sit in a room in silence with no distraction. So if I don't have the capacity to sit silent with no distraction, then I'll make up things and issues and create things and issues in my life or in somebody else's life to keep myself busy, so that I don't have to sit in silence, in my own silence, and not get distracted, because I don't have the capability to do that. And no wonder, see all the politicians, all the people who causes drama in the relationship, in the family, they go and poke other people because they can't sit idle. And I'm sure in some ways that's also true in myself and yourselves as well. In some way, I am distracting myself because I don't have enough capacity to stay in a room in silence with no distraction for long. Truly, I sit for 5, 10, 15 minutes, then I'll pick up the phone. So my capacity is only that. And why is that? Because the undercurrent of something comes up. And it doesn't have to be the phone. It can be just, I was thinking about something else. Now I'm thinking about something else. And so if we are attuned enough or aware enough when it arises, we can catch it. We can catch it. What is the compulsion? We can become aware of it. Where is it coming from? How come I'm moving from one task to another task? How come I'm getting bored? And how come I can't stay with my boredom? A lot of people get anxiety because they are bored, because now the old pain is coming up, surfacing. I know my father and my brother, they cannot stay without constantly putting something on in the background. Something has to go on running, either somebody talking, news, movies, song, something. For my brother, even if when he's asleep, something has to go on. There are other reasons why that happens. One reason is, of course, they cannot sit with their silence, because then they start questioning, what have I achieved in life? Nothing. And that nothingness puts them in shame rather than, what can I do better? Most people are stuck in their shame and they cannot change their ways because they are stuck in the shame. They will rather hide themselves behind the shame than say, I've done a mistake. How can I get better? Most people will be like, oh my God, I've done a mistake. Now I want to just hide, crawl into a hole and never come out. I hope nobody has seen that. I hope nobody sees my fault. Nobody sees my mistake. So that's the shame. And if we are stuck in shame, we can never progress in life. So, this comes back to Carl Jung's quote that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives and we will call it fate. And these people, and I'm sure I am maybe in some way there as well, some way I sometimes or other would blame others instead of taking responsibility. And I try to be very aware and catch myself. Or I sometimes slip of tongue. I say, oh, that was my fate. Nowadays, I do very, it's infrequent, but because it's been ingrained in me and it was part of me, sometimes or other, when I'm not aware, it comes out. And then I know, oh my, if I can catch myself, then I know I have still more work to do. And believe me, there is never less work. You just know the tools now and you keep on working and keep on working on yourselves, because this is a lifestyle. So noticing that compulsion is making something that was unconscious to our conscious. And when the compulsion arises to go and do something, to eat food, we don't focus on behavioral issue and say, don't eat the food. We focus on what is driving me to do that. What is driving me to go and eat the food? Because a lot of the times it's not hunger, it's self-soothing. So we focus on what drives the behavior. We might say sit there for a moment and discern where it is in my body, and discern that with curiosity instead of judgment. How come? How come it's here in the shoulder, in the back? Or you might feel it's arising in your belly, in your chest, in your legs. You might want to get up and pace. A lot of the times, Ishan, you might see your clients that they want to, when they're talking to you, they start pacing. And maybe when you see that happening, you feel anxious. You feel like, why is this person fidgeting? I can't concentrate. So instead of controlling them, you bring the attention to yourself, where even in a therapy session. And as you do practice more and more, it takes only a few seconds. Oh my God, something is, my client sharing something with me, something is getting triggered. I'm feeling it here. Okay, I'm going to come back to this later and process it myself later. Or if you are with a friend, family, and they're sharing with you something which is triggering you, you park it, you acknowledge it where it is, and you park it for the moment, because right now you are there for them. And then you come back to it later and recreate what was going on and what was getting triggered, and then you process it. Where, with curiosity, where in my body do I feel that? What do I feel? Discern all how it feels. Right now, I can feel some tightness in my back. So that's how you do it. And then when you do it, come back to your anchor to feel safety. When you guys have done sessions with me, I have talked about anchoring to a space in your body where you feel safe. Come back to safety, especially when you are attending to other people and you don't have to have the time to look into what's going on within you for too long. You just acknowledge and you go towards your safety wherever you have anchored it, or to your grounding resources. And it could be taking regulated breaths, yawning, because yawning is a great way to bring your nervous system to homeostasis, to parasympathetic. So all the while you are feeling that in your body, what we have done is we haven't acted on the compulsion. We have started to move towards growing into our capacity when you are focusing on what's going on in the body. Instead of impulsively doing the other thing, you are now growing your capacity. We are moving into the direction of healing rather than moving in the direction and entrenching the survival patterns, the loop that was there. And the more we start doing that, the more practice we get, the better we get, the more resourceful we get, the more stable we get. So you can actually sit with the compulsion until it goes away. And they don't last for too long. I think one of the person doing the research, he came up with, I think it is 90 seconds each emotion lasts. If we can sit with it, really sit with it and not just loop, it lasts 90 seconds. So if we learn to stay with it on our own, that craving or that compulsion to change the activity will dissipate, will go away in less than 90 seconds. But someone won't be able to do that unless they are probably resourced enough and they've got the skills to do that. You might end up doing that thing, the drinking, the eating, or whatever it is that you are using. Then you feel ashamed. The fact that you couldn't stop yourself once again and went ahead and did that thing anyway, then you feel ashamed. But you don't have to perpetuate the shame. If you start learning to be aware when that's happening and just sit for a little bit of time and grow those capacity, you will come out of it. So this is why practicing sitting with our emotions, our sensations for 1 or 2 minutes is very important. It's irrelevant whether you have some sort of addiction, drinking, use something, or whatever that is. That is completely irrelevant. Just be with that moment for that moment. Even if you do that after, if you go and do that compulsion in few minutes, that's okay. But learn to sit at that moment. Once you've done that, go do whatever you do the compulsion to escape from that inability to be with this. That's okay, but you're learning in this stage. So you are helping you gain the ability to tolerate it or to be with it and hold and contain and hold your experience for a little bit longer every time. And as you do this, you just get more and more attuned to how subtle it can be and attuned to your sensations and bodies and more capable to handle that. So when you notice that, just say, oh, I see that compulsion. I see you. I see you want to go and do this. And that's okay. You can go and do this in a bit. Right now, sit with me. What's bothering you? Where are you in the body? What are you doing? And discern, using the discern method. Nothing needs to be done now. Just be with that. There is no need to be away from this moment. But it can get so subtle, you can start to predict when it might come up. And then you once again be with it and use your hands to contain it. It's okay. Rock yourself. Hug yourself, rock yourself. It's okay. It's going to be fine. You're good. But what happens, our nervous system is so clever. It senses it and it wants to, even before you can be aware, it's gone doing the other thing. So start to notice these things in more subtle areas of your life. It can become overwhelming to really sit there and not get up and not go and do the chore, not go and eat, not go and do the thing that you need to do, not clean the house. It can be overwhelming. So if you find yourself too much overwhelming, just sit a little bit and then go and do the thing. And this is what it comes back to, pendulating. You go do the thing, come sit with it a little bit longer, or as long as you feel you can contain it, then go and do the thing. Every time you pendulate between safety, because going and doing the thing is safety for you. Go be with safety, come back and handle it a little bit longer. And the safety can be just your hug. Instead of going doing the thing, I can hug myself and feel that safety, or go to my anchor and feel that safety. So if you start to feel like you are getting hijacked, get up. And the next time, because again, you're sitting there, you're growing in capacity. Because at that moment, going and doing the other thing, washing the clothes or dishes or something, is like a survival drive, is like your safety net, because that is the trauma response. All right. I might give you this as homework. Take a screenshot, just because we have gone over time and I know, Ishan, you have to leave. So take a screenshot and then you can do this at home on your own. What is my addiction? How do I procrastinate? Or how do I escape from something uncomfortable? And then ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What emotions am I avoiding? And then, what is the underlying trauma? What is the trauma image? What is the stories? What is the belief? What is the thought? What is the sensation? What is the memory? What is the story that's coming up? Write those things in each areas of your lives. Okay. So I'm going to stop here. I hope you have taken a screenshot of this. And then we'll move forward from there next class, inshallah. So I'm going to stop and let's do some quick share. What are you taking away? What are you resonating with?
I think I can resonate with the flipping from one thing to another. It just feels like my brain is crowded and I have to go from one to another.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then partially do one, partially do another. It's just like,
Yeah.
even if I'm doing one thing, like I'm trying to study, my brain is not there. It's just
Mm-hmm.
drifting away to, oh,
Yeah.
I need to do this. So
Yeah. Yeah. And interestingly, you know, this is termed as ADHD. And a lot of even the doctors, they don't still realize that ADHD is a trauma response. It's because I cannot sit with my thought for too long. It's because I cannot sit, keep doing one activity for too long, because that brings my discomfort and I want to escape the discomfort. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Taha, are you there? I know you were away for a bit. Are you there now? All right. Probably she isn't. So inshallah, we're going to
Apu, sorry. Yes, I am here. I'm
did you
just
want to
going.
share anything? You have anything to share? What you
Apu,
resonate?
my neighbor just came to fix the bathroom.
Oh, you missed a bit?
Tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all
Yes,
right.
I need to leave now. Sorry.
That's okay. No
I'll talk
problem.
to you later. Okay, bye.
Speak to you soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.